It's okay. Do not stress out. We're gonna get the tangles out, maybe those dreads or the snarls in your kiddo's hair, and we're gonna do it together. It can happen to each and every one of us. Maybe your hair is a little more on the dry side. Maybe you're a kid and you hate getting your hair brushed. I know my kiddo sometimes hates getting her hair brushed. Or maybe you have had a hard time getting out of bed. I mean, we've all been there. You don't really feel like brushing your hair. You don't feel like getting in the shower. You just keep throwing it up in a ponytail. Or honestly, all of you who have ever been in the hospital and you're leaning back in your bed, it's very easy to get dreads or matted on the back of your head. I have tons of clients that also complain about hooded sweatshirts or scarves. Scarves really kind of rub the back of your head and will create those tangles or dreads in your hair. My lovely mannequin, she hasn't brushed her hair in a while. As you can see, she's got a little dreading. She has some spots. She hasn't brushed for a while. And she has also worn tons of scarves, some hoods, and she can't get this out of her hair. So what do you need to be able to get tangles out of your hair super easy? First, I always recommend using a wet brush or a really soft bristle brush. If you've ever brushed your kiddo's hair and they, ow, Mom, Dad, that hurts. This thing is a lifesaver. It really helps because the bristles are super soft and it doesn't tug or pull on the hair, which also helps with not losing as much hair. If you've ever used a regular brush on your hair, you'll notice you'll get a lot of hair stuck in your brush because it pulls it out. Another thing you can use is a wider tooth comb. As you can see on here, the teeth on this comb are a little bit more spread out, or if you have a pick, that's super great as well. I do also recommend using a butterfly clip or any kind of clip to pull the hair out of the way. Now let's get into products that you might need to have on hand while you're doing this. I love a leave-in conditioner. This one's by It's a 10. But honestly, if you're just trying to get the tangles out, you can also use a regular conditioner that you use in the shower and put it in a spray bottle with a little bit of water. That works super, super easily. Or you might need some oil. This is a serum. You can use coconut oil. You can use really anything that's gonna create kind of softness or a lot of really kind of conditioning properties to the hair to kind of smooth down that cuticle so it's a little easier for you to get those tangles out. All right, let's tackle this together. First, let's start with the back nape of the neck. The biggest mistake I see people do is take their brush and go right in, right where those tangles are and try to brush the tangles out. Don't do that. That's just gonna create a lot of damage on your hair that's already there. It's not gonna really detangle very easily and it's gonna hurt your scalp or your kiddo's scalp. I love to take my leave-in conditioner, again, that can be in a spray bottle, and just spray it right where those knots are. Then I will kind of massage it into kind of those tangles. And then I'm gonna take the brush, and you always start from the bottom. Similar to just brushing your hair out. You're gonna really softly get all the little tangles to the bottom of the hair out first, and it's gonna pull out super easily. I mean, it's just gliding right through this mannequin's hair. Same, so this is really where she's super tangled up. And you're just gonna start slowly. Start slowly, flip it over, and just get those teeth right where it's just kind of starting to knot. And then just work your way up, being super soft and gentle, and you don't really have to pull super, super hard. And go slow. If you need to, if it's a little overwhelming, go in sections. So break this section up and start on the tiniest section. And this section is almost completely detangled from the scalp now all the way to the ends. And that spot is now detangled, and we're gonna move on to the middle section, just slowly getting those teeth in there. Let's move on to a different tool. We're gonna use our wide tooth comb, and it's the same concept. You're gonna just take that comb, start at the very bottom of a tangle, and brush it all the way through. If you're not combing it all the way through to the ends, you're gonna create kind of tangles at the end. So you wanna, each time you go through each section, you're just gonna bring it down. And as you can tell with this comb, with the wide tooth comb, when I'm combing through, you can tell it's not as gentle on the mannequin. You can kind of hear it, and you can see her head is tugging a little bit more. So if you have a sensitive scalp and getting tangles out, or kind of any pulling or tugging on your hair, I honestly suggest getting one of the wet brushes or detangling brushes. It's gonna be a lot more gentle on your hair, and you will lose a lot less hair doing it that way. Again, just moving our way up and doing kind of short little strokes towards the scalp, just to kind of move those tangles down. It's similar to if you've ever detangled a necklace. You kind of have to get it loose and kind of baggy. Any pulling or really trying to get one certain spot, it's harder to remove those knots. So you just super soft, super gentle, just moving your way down. If you need to, you can also add a little bit more product, some oil on it, and go over kind of the more difficult spots that are not loosening up, and kind of rake your fingers through it, and then go back to that comb. That helps. Okay, so now let's go through with our wet brush again to really comb that product through. We're gonna drop down that other section that we tied up there and work on that. And you just have to go layer by layer, section by section. And it really helps if you have the right tools. If you're using a fine tooth comb, it's gonna take forever. You're really gonna hurt yourself. So I would suggest get yourself a wet brush, and it'll be quick and a lot less painful. Okay, she is now officially no more dreading, no more tangles in it. I can get my comb and my brush all the way through, root to ends, a lot less damage on her hair. And I do have a little bit of hair in my brush, but considering how tangly it was, it's really not that bad. So now while I work on these other tangles, and you guys can just watch, I want to kind of tell you how you can avoid getting into this mess. So for example, with kids, if you're watching this and your kid has a lot of tangles on their hair, I always suggest having them brush their hair, obviously in the morning when they first wake up, because if you have a rough sleeper, they rub their head all over their sheets and they will create tangles in their hair. So always try to brush their hair right when they wake up, when they get home from school. We all see our kiddos when they get home from school and they look like they've been in a fight. They look a little rough. So I would say have them brush their hair when they get home from school, and teach them the same way I'm showing you, holding the ends, working your way up through the hair, and then doing it on the scalp. Never start here and go straight down. That is when it hurts the most, and doing kind of the small little strokes on each strand really helps. And then always before bed. If your kiddo tosses and turns a lot at night, I do suggest a super loose, soft braid on their hair, if their hair is long especially, and it really helps keep their hair from rubbing on their pillow. Now for all my adults that have a hard time, if you have finer hair or if your hair is longer, you will tangle a little bit more. Also, if you have curly hair or any kind of texture to your hair, you will notice your hair is gonna tangle a lot more than anybody who has very smooth, silky hair. So for my clients that ask, like, every single time I wake up, I just have snarls or tangles in their hair, I always suggest a silk pillowcase. It also helps with wrinkles on your face, but it really helps from roughing up the cuticle, and that really is what causes a lot of tangling. If you do not have a smooth, flat surface on your hair, you're gonna start getting tangled. So now, if you like what you are hearing and this is helping you at all, please do not forget about hitting that thumbs up. I love seeing you guys do that and interacting with me. And as always, I'm dropping all these videos weekly and I don't want you to miss out. So there's a little bell. It's gonna give you a notification if you are a subscriber. And I mean, why wouldn't you be? So hit that red subscribe button if you haven't yet. But it will notify you for all my new videos coming out if you wanna be notified. So all of my, say, if you will, clients that go swimming. Swimming is very hard on your hair. It is something that salt water, if anybody has ever swam in the ocean, you know the salt water is hard on your hair. It makes it a little more on the dry side. Also, all of my watchers out there, if you have extensions you know can get tangled or matted very, very quickly or easily. So super important to do conditioning treatments on your hair or adding oil to your hair. If your hair is on the drier side, you are going to tangle or mat a lot more. So I always suggest doing a leave-in conditioner or just your regular conditioner on your hair before you get into the ocean, before you get into a pool. It really helps with saving your hair and avoiding kind of the tangles or dreads on your hair. And you do not have to worry about it getting nasty when you get out of the pool or the ocean. We are almost done with this lovely mannequin here. We have one more spot. And this side isn't nearly as bad. So we have seen Brady Bunch, and you see on there where she's just combing her hair 100 times, and it makes it look so nice. Well, when you are combing your hair or brushing your hair, it's taking the oil from your scalp and putting it down through the rest of your hair. And that will help maintain super healthy, smooth hair towards the very ends. And so then it just does not tangle as much. Now let's get to the scarf situation. Unfortunately, there's not a whole lot you can do whenever you wear a scarf or a cowl neck sweater to avoid those tangles underneath. Just the prep work of making sure that your hair is healthy to begin with will really help. And then when you do take off that scarf, brush your hair. Don't throw it back up into a ponytail because you're not going to be able to get those tangles out if you're just creating more of a mess. So brush your hair out after you take that cowl neck or the sweater off. Now for my adventurous guys or gals, it does not matter. Everybody can have long hair. Another thing that I have done to a couple of my clients is if they have, say, curly hair underneath, but everything else is straight. You all know you get those cute little tendrils at the bottom of your hair, but if you have straight hair and you have those tendrils on the bottom, those seem to get tangly super easy. So do you know what you can do? If you are feeling a little spicy or you want to try something different and you have a lot of hair, you can shave your neckline. So you've seen kind of the undercut where people will take from the ears down and shave to kind of remove that hair. Or if you don't want to go that kind of crazy, you can also just take, if you notice some people, I'll turn around so you can see the back of my head. Some people's hairlines go down a little bit further. And when their hair goes down a little further and they have all these little hairs that never seem to go up into a ponytail, or they just, they're curlier normally, I have clients where I will take those little hairs. Obviously this mannequin has a very nice hairline and you don't see kind of the M shape or the V shape on her neck. But let's pretend these little hairs are super curly and very unruly, and they always get tangly, and when she wears her hair up, they never go in a ponytail. We could take a razor and just shave off those sections that are just unruly and never grow and go into a ponytail. Yes, you have to maintain it, but a lot of people love to do that so then it doesn't get tangled, and that honestly really, really helps. All right, look at how beautiful and straight her hair is. It's looking fabulous, and no more tangles, and she's ready to conquer her day. Hey, we made it through it together. I told you we would be able to get those tangles out, and I'm hoping you're feeling a little less stressed. Again, like I said, everybody eventually gets tangly hair or dreads, and you stress out about how do I remove it? You think I'm just gonna have to cut my hair. But these tricks and tips I just gave you is the easiest way to avoid the most damage and to keep your hair from getting tangled again. As always, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.